Hey everybody. So, we've got a recording from a StarCraft 2 match which June and I played in yesterday. So, I'm going to go over the match and talk about some of the things that happened in it from my perspective. I may change the viewpoints to some of the other players now and then, but for the majority of it, it will be from my perspective as Terran, and we'll speed this up a bit. It's an 18-minute match, so we don't want the whole video being that long, obviously. So, regular kind of start. Gathering some resources, blocking up our front entrance here. This is one of the newer maps. It's been active for about 2 or 3 months. When it first came out, I did not care for it at all, but I've come to like it a fair bit. So one of our Zerg partners took the front expansion, which initially I thought was kind of strange because I would think that somebody who could defend themselves like Terran or Protoss would be better there, but you'll see as the match goes on, it actually wasn't too bad of an idea. This was my first expansion here off to the right hand side. For the most part, I usually start out relatively slow army wise as Terran or Protoss. I usually like to go bigger units, looking more for endgame. I'm not too much of a rush player, so. Okay, so the factory's already done. We've got a tank out. Start the armory. I have a starport already built, building a second. Then I start the fusion core so I can get some battle cruisers out. We didn't obviously know it at this point in time because we couldn't see it, but the opponent has come to drop a nuke on us. So I'll slow this down a little bit. And this was their opening attack, which I mean, it's not a bad way to start. We weren't necessarily expecting it. I don't know if our teammates had played against the opponents previously, but I think our teammates were kind of not surprised about it. And then we get another nuke in the back here on the Zerg on June. Unfortunately, they take out the Ghost just before or just after the nuke drops. So that takes out most of his supply line there. I've got my first battle cruiser out now. I'm just going to hang out at my base. I've got my expansion pumping pretty well. Not really doing anything specific. We're not being very aggressive at all at this point. The yellow player actually did quite well. For me, they were the most annoying in this match. They kept pushing me. You'll see a little bit later on. Yeah, so we're just slowly expanding, building up our forces. A few skirmishes here and there. I wanted to take out this overlord just to prevent them having sight there. So blue is intending to get a little bit aggressive. And little does he know, or any of us have any idea, that we have another nuke coming in. And once again, there goes a supply line. Took out a few of his zealots as well. Yeah. So at that point, red was pushing a little bit over to yellow, one of yellow's expansions. So we had a couple skirmishes throughout the map. I've just expanded to my third base. I've got a couple battle cruisers. I haven't really engaged in anything yet at this point. I was kind of waiting for some more upgrades and to have a little bit of a bigger army. And I was going to wait for the most part until teammates had mass and army as well, but they're poking here and there, which, you know, it's good to keep the opponent in check, make sure they don't get too cocky. I'll speed this up a bit here. So yeah, we're just checking things out, taking our time. I think this is one of the games where the Terran Orange here was utilizing mines a fair bit. Um, we had another match. I don't remember if it was this one or if it was a later match where the opponent's mines ended up playing a big part in it. Okay, so red and blue are pushing here into orange. Orange has a ton of Zerglings. Got it. Actually, I didn't watch this encounter during the match, and my battle cruisers are just hanging out there. They get nuked, but luckily they've got a couple upgrades, so they're not wiped out at that point. They do take a lot of damage, but they're still there to annoy people later on. Alright, so we have a skirmish here with June's Mutas and Green's battle cruisers. Green is not upgrading very quickly. I think that may have a big impact on the overall match as well, actually. My battle cruisers have been upgraded a little bit more than Green's. So we're making a pretty good push here. It looks like we could possibly get at least one of them to surrender at this point. But they're able to defend fairly well. And as I was saying before about yellow being quite annoying, he starts pushing forward at this point. I think if he had come with one of his teammates, the outcome here could have been very different. But he came out here on his own, so we were able to repel this attack. He did a fair bit of damage, though. And then Green sends his battle cruisers to help him out. I think if Green had come with him sooner, I think the result there would have been very different. But then yellow ends up retreating, and Green's left here by himself. So June has his corruptors up, which push back the battle cruisers. I had only a couple battle cruisers at the time, so they wouldn't really have done much. So June definitely got those corruptors out in time. I'm at my fourth expansion now, off to the right. We're still being annoying with the expansions of our opponents. Yellow again has amassed some of his ground army. Again, upgrades are not coming that quickly. So yellow is going to do a little bit of a push, and this is where he starts being annoying for me. I was just setting up my defenses for this expansion, and yellow decides to put an end to that. I'm able to warp in my battle cruisers and repel him a little bit. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough. And then Green decides to get in on some of this action as well. So yeah, so bye-bye to that expansion. Luckily, my teammates are able to come to my aid. And we have a little bit of a skirmish here. And during that time, I'm able to get a few more battle cruisers over. June starts to send over his corruptors, so we're going to be able to push out the battle cruisers for sure. My battle cruisers are mainly taking care of the ground units. The red Zerg is also helping there, but June is owning the green battle cruisers, no problem. So that is not an issue there. Then down to the bottom left, we've got another skirmish with some of the Protoss taking on some of the Terran over here. And we've got red pushing into the entrance. Then they retreat. And I think they're going after one of their expansions. Okay, yeah. So he's going after orange's expansion over here. We've still got a little bit of an encounter happening down here with the blue Protoss and the Terran. Just keep being annoying. Just annoying enough to prevent them from massing anything too substantial. The red Zerg is taking it to the yellow Zerg. I have yet to be able to really amass any amount of battle cruisers, mainly because I'm not able to get this fourth expansion going. Get set up now. At this point, it looks like the match is ours pretty much, so I'm not worried about the defenses for this expansion too much, so I'm just going to let it ride as is. Red Zerg is pushing over into the expansion here. So before that gets set up, yellow Zerg comes to defend, but it's pretty much too late, really. That expansion is just not going to happen. And we've got the first and the second of the opponents surrendering. And so at this point, it's basically the match is over. We're just kind of cleaning things up here, waiting for them to leave. I've got my battle cruisers now into their base. June has his corruptors, so Green's battle cruisers really don't stand a chance here. I was going to go a little bit further into their base and just take out their mineral lines, but I figured I'd stay and help June deal with the battle cruisers. At this point, it really didn't matter too much. I mean, 2 of them have already surrendered. And again, here's where yellow is being the bane of my existence. He's over here taking out my 4th expansion. If the other 2 opponents had still been in the match, I would have been a little bit worried. But at this point, I realize they've only got 2 of them really that can do anything. So yes, I'm going to lose an expansion, maybe 2 here, but we're going to be able to recover from it and push on. Yeah, and then we've got June in the back of the opponent's base, taking out one of their mineral lines. Green had ported into our base, so I ported a couple battle cruisers to repel him, and he's done for there. And we still have a little bit of fun with yellow back and forth. At this point, yellow is pretty much just about to give up, because it's over for him. Well, it's over for the entire opposing force. And we got blue Protoss taking out another expansion over here, which is gone. And there we go. Green has surrendered, and yellow has GG'd. And that was the match. So I may try another one of these later. This was my first one commenting on a previous match, so we'll see what people think and possibly post another one of these. Well, thanks for viewing the match. Have a good one.